Hello, YouTube, and welcome back to Michigan for the finale part of this race weekend, race 21 of the NRSL Coke Vanilla Cup Series. Joining me once again is Stephen Pod III.
Hello, guys. Ready for the final track?
On the front row today is Henry Williams in the 77, starting alongside pole sitter Seth Cole. Amy Shelley and Dylan Young will make up row number 2, with Mary Shelley and Stephen Pod III row 3. Cole Deaver and Jonathan Zorline make up row number 4, and Brian Patterson and Henry Sanford row number 5. Here's the rest of the starting grid.
So definitely, I think it's going to be a good race as we've seen the other two series. Been great racing all weekend. Look for the back of the field, like I mentioned, once we'll get there. RJ Reynolds is starting in the 29th position. We see 28th and 30th win this week. So I'm looking for RJ to do Zach Lowell's first race. Let's go call as we get to this row. Zane Dula, Oz Khan, him, Jess, and Will Lewis. Jackson has a big points lead, so Brad needs to drive to the field. And our last row is Steve Pollard in a driver change and Chris Louvier, who won an Indy.
Yep, Louvier.
Actually, the final row is the last two previous winners of the series.
Yeah, basically. That's kind of funny about it, as Steve Pollard now is 17th in points coming into this one. The top 10 today are coming in is Charles Jackson with a 279-point lead, almost 2 races over Bill Bragg Jr., Tristan Wilhoit, Vince Almarego, Chris Washer, Delon Abrahamian, Henry Sanford, Sam Young, Dylan Young, and Tim Randolph, the top 10. Wild cards coming in. Steve Pollard holds the first one, and Chris Luger is second.
Drivers, start your engines.
Command has been given 8 onboards that we'll carry should we need them. We didn't need them yesterday. We'll start with the points leader. Charles Jackson's carrying the Dodge onboard. Bill Bragg Jr., the Toyota onboard. Tristan Wilhoit, the Ford onboard. Vince Almarego, the Chevy onboard. Chris Washer, the Kellogg's onboard camera. Delon Abrahamian, the AAA onboard camera. Henry Stanford, the Domino's onboard camera. And finally, Dylan Young carrying the DuPont onboard camera. So we already saw a little bit of contact there on coming off pit lane between the 42 and the 5. That'll be interesting to follow.
Well, if we have green flag pit stops, the pit road actually is very narrow, so we'll most likely see a caution for someone who's getting hit from the right rear.
It definitely would be very possible. Drivers.
At least everybody got going too.
Yeah. Battles to probably keep in mind for today will be the battle between the 70 and the 4 car to try and get into the top 30 in points for next weekend, so that they don't have to worry about trying to qualify in on speed at Velton's Arena.
Chris and Steve are the wild cards too.
I mentioned that one actually when we were going through the points, as pace car will make the hard left onto pit lane, leaving the field under control of Seth Cole, the National Road Chevy, and Henry Williams, the front row. And the Angeli Central Market 400 is green.
Henry Williams, that's a black flag.
As Amy Shelley quick to make it 3 wide. They're already almost 4 wide back here. That was Almarego and Preston Plord.
Racing hard. Remember in the truck race we saw back on the run, not in the Coors race, we see Alex in the Cup race.
And meanwhile, Amy Shelley already out in front just that quickly.
Here comes MWR on the bottom.
Yeah, 00 in the 55 already making moves towards the front. Stephen Paul III was in the middle. Cole Deaver's down there as well.
We're not making it past 21.
Well, we made it 1 lap, so there's something.
This is where the wreck happened last time. We all making this stuff for all the truck racing.
Caution, I think. Oh, never mind. I heard scraping.
I think it was Alexander Rowe for sure.
Might have been Rowe and RJ Reynolds in the 44 car.
That 29th position and got jinxed.
Meanwhile, Amy Shelley with a big lead over Zach Flickinger and a humongous lead to 3rd.
Well, Daniel James started to like 23rd, so I will go Daniel.
As right now 3 wide for 3rd. Vince Almarego making bold moves today. He's making it 4 wide there as they wisely back out of it there.
Because that all would have been.
Oh, big
Oh,
wreck!
God.
Car flipping!
Marengo is upside down.
That's Delon Ebrahimian in the 6th, sliding on his roof.
Oh my God, that's a horrible hit. That might be Johnny Gardner, tough break there. What a crash! As Amy Shelley leads back under the yellow.
Amy Shelley does lead over Zach Flickinger and Vince Almarego. And the attention quickly shifting back to the 6th of Delon Ebrahimian.
That was a hell of a hit. I hope he's all right. Jesus, that's not a hit you want to take. At least he can hit the safe barrier, not the attenuator.
True. And it's also a good thing that we're in these cars this week. Oh, is Seth Cole's gun turned?
Well, obviously Jonathan Zornline was not happy with Seth Cole sandbagging on the start.
I'm not sure that was actually the 7 that turned him.
If it was the 77, I don't think it was, because the 77 got one.
Actually, I think it might have been the 00, as Will Lewis with damage in the 07 car.
07 then.
And we do have some pit stops here underneath this yellow. It looks like maybe some damage to the 49. And Samed Ozkan will pit, as well as Will Lewis. Sam Young also going to pit in the 14. James Qualls takes an opportunity to pit, as well as Mark George.
We'll have to see what happened there.
And yesterday's winner, Jessica Shelton, will also pit. And Zach Rogers, who I believe was also involved in the incident, we see damage to the rear of his Valvoline Dodge. Let's take a look back at what happened. And we're back. Here's what happened in turn number 1, 4 wide at Michigan. Steve Pollard there on the inside. Zach Rogers and a little bit of pinching goes on there. And Delon Ebrahimian going to be the big loser on this one. Hard hit.
I'm more amazed the 43 didn't just go straight into the safe barrier there and take out Baranowskis.
And several barrel rolls there for the 6 car, and then just slides on his roof. Johnny Gardner, his day is over in the 06 car. Not the run he would have liked.
On the bright side, at least the 6 hit the safer barrier, so not too bad of it. The roof is definitely caved.
Chris Louvier on the apron there.
Chris is trying to take the exciting line into turn 3.
Now, what happened with Seth?
Well, Seth coming back. DeLello's got rear ends fine there. Definitely frame problems coming into turn 1.
Well, let's see. And Seth just pinches the 00 and gets turned.
Where the 49 got his damage from.
I might have been just seeing things. I don't know. The way that the front end looks on that car looks a little wonky.
Well, they've only made 3 races, so we're not used to seeing it that much.
We'll take a quick look at this just to make sure.
Oh, this is the 49s getting more screen time than they got all year.
I don't know. I don't see anything wrong with it. So with that, let's go ahead and take you back to the restart. And we are back. Johnny Gardner and Delon Ebrahimian, the only retirees from that incident. Both drivers, thankfully, checked and released from the infield care center, so they are okay. Amy Shelley is the race leader over Zach Flickinger, Vince Almarego. Daniel James is in 4th, Levi McIntyre, Stephen Paul III, Brennan Patterson, Zachary DeLello, Tim Randolph, Zachary Fitzwater to the top 10. Charles Jackson, Henry Sanford, Seth Cole, Chris Washer, Henry Williams, Jonathan Zorline, Tristan Wilhoit, Cole Deaver, Preston Plourd, and Alger Baranowskis the top 20. With Dylan Young, Christopher Pierce, Steve Pollard, Mary Shelley, Joshua Osborne, William Duncan, Kyle Matthews, Bill Brack Jr., Mohammed Zainudullah, Chris Louvier, Alexander Rowe, Sky Commons, RJ Reynolds, Samed Ozkan, Will Lewis, Sam Young, Jessica Shelton, James Qualls, Mark George, and Zach Rogers, the lead lap cars. Remember that the top 32 did not pit underneath that yellow.
Also, a quick note to me: I'm even had 3 or 4 straight top 8 finishes. Going to be a rough day in the points for the 6 car.
Who came into this race, ironically enough, 6th in the points. So, yeah, a little bit of a hit there as the pace car pulls off. Now the Altel Dodge leads the field. Delayed restart here, at least a little bit. Green flag now is finally out.
The 12 might have. No, he didn't break.
Although Shelley did not get going as well as we would have maybe thought there.
A lot of the Seth sandbag, Amy sandbag, a lot of sandbagging on the restarts.
As Levi McIntyre going to be the one to take advantage of this.
Yes, he is. As Harry comes down the inside, he needs to go for it after a struggling few months.
As Vince Almarego losing ground on the outside line there.
Someone who also needs to know what is Stephen Paul III trying to get into the chase himself. He's going for the lead.
3 wide for the race lead, as I think Shelley's going to get credit for leading the lap. Yes, she will. So no bonus points to the 99 as Zach Flickinger was in the wall.
Good job, Zach.
Keeps it going straight, though, and so we stay green.
3 wide. Here goes Fitz.
Fitzwater looking for 3rd right now as Levi McIntyre cuts off the 19's run going into turn 3.
Here comes down the inside. Here comes Jackson, Redfield.
Yep. Here comes Almarego as well as the 9 pushes that 15 down the front straightaway. Stephen Paul III now leads.
Almarego won the Ontario race, if I'm not mistaken.
Zach Rogers is off the pace. Looks like Mark George might be struggling as well as Shelton. Not sure what really happened there because 21 we didn't see involved in anything. So not quite sure why she would be straggling behind right now. Just kind of looking through, make sure people are up to speed.
Zach DeLello and Daniel James battling. That is not a combo I expected to see.
As a little bit of tire marks there on the side of the 55 from when he got the wall.
Henry Williams coming up here.
Yep, gonna grab 7th away from the 49 car, who actually that ends up being, I think, a battle for the 6th position there. So move the 77 up to 6th. Amy Shelley now up to 7th. And here comes Henry Sanford.
Okay, come. Look who's coming in the background.
Before?
Not before, the 43.
Oh.
The last row. Well, Chris Washer ruined those plans. As 17 in the back after the Atlanta winner there. Oh, God, I thought they were laughing somebody.
Vince Almarego makes a move on Charles Jackson for 2nd right now as Pollard's loving this up front.
He surely is. Pollard came in here pretty low in the points.
19th.
Oh, well, wow. We gained a lot. We were 31st at one point.
Meanwhile, the battle right now is for 3rd as Fitzwater is going to grab that spot back from the 9. And, Amy Shelley's going to also grab a spot from the 9 of Charles Jackson.
For sure. Now, like we saw Jess in the lead yesterday. No one could pass her, so maybe the same trend going here as Clean Air might be king today.
Although Vince Almarego is starting to try and reel in that 23 car as he finally cleared 3rd place Zachary Fitzwater and the rest of the pack.
The real question is, do they have to pit? And those 7 guys do not pit on the
Well, I mean, the people who didn't pit, surely they do have to pit at least at some point before the end of this race. As for the people who did pit underneath that yellow, that's hard to tell, I think, right now. Meanwhile, Vince Almarego now makes the move on Stephen Paul III for the race lead.
Paul trying to drive it in there, just can't do it. This is what
And look at the momentum that the 19 of Zachary Fitzwater has.
Yeah, Steven just couldn't hold it, but good 5 bonus points at least.
And yep, 15 now also grabs his 5 bonus points, and what it would mean for Fitzwater if he could grab his 2nd win of the season.
That means walk to the chase.
Meanwhile, here comes the 23 once again.
Sanford, the Thornton winner, coming up to the field. Henry Williams was the Coca-Cola winner. He's come to the field himself.
Yep. 4-car battle for the top spot as they'll see cross flags this time by halfway home in the Angeli Central Market 400.
Everybody besides Amy Shelley is trying to race the top 5. They're trying to go for 2 here.
Yeah, basically. Although some of them are actually top 10 in points, so it's just kind of solidifying their spot as now Sanford clears for the race lead. Almarego going to try and follow through for second. Amy Shelley chops off the 49 car.
Well, the 49 is really as a surprise up here, so she didn't even know. She probably thinks she's a lap down.
I mean, maybe, but that's still no excuse to cut someone off because you don't know if they're going to give you that space.
Very true. As Stephen Paul III trying to make the high line work, he's not quick. Oh, God.
And meanwhile, Henry Sanford now gets 5 bonus points for leading a lap in that 00 car.
This looks like a 10-car break. Back to Steve Pollock back there, so let's hear Almarego.
Yep, Almarego once again going for the top spot as the 00 of Henry Sanford tries to fight back on that outside line, not able to do so. Would be better for him to fall back in line, not going to be able to do so though in front of that 77 of Henry Williams.
Who struggled up front. Zach Lowell went. Zach Lowell hadn't made a race with Coca-Cola. And that was 14 races ago.
Now granted, he also hasn't tried all 14 races since then.
Still.
Although for DeLello, he would be looking for his first career top 5 if he can get it here today.
Well, if they win the race, they're definitely going to Homestead.
Meanwhile, here comes Dylan Young trying to grab that 5th spot away.
What a win. How about the 4? What a win for Daniel James would be. That means the 4 could be in the wild card.
They could definitely be in the owner's chase, yeah.
It's too late right for this. Mulligan.
Meanwhile, here comes DeLello in that 49 car.
Where did BAM Racing steal this car from Everhand?
Maybe.
Like seriously, oh my lord, very fast. We see the 48 in that back picture. He's coming toward the front. I believe that's Duncan.
Kyle Matthews.
Duncan ran last season. My fault. Dylan Young coming up to the field, but he's on a 90-plus losing streak himself.
Meanwhile, Daniel James now 3 wide with Henry Sanford and Henry Williams.
I believe Dylan's last one was season 2 at Texas, so it's definitely trying to get back up there for Dylan.
That would sound about right, as they're starting to catch up to the 10.
Definitely a rough week for Everhand for sure. But Amy Shelley, looking really strong. It's not falling the back like we see most of the guys in the front of the race doing. DeLello is coming though.
Yep, that 49 unsponsored Dodge coming up towards the front of the field. And gonna try and make the move for second. Nearly gets chopped off by the 12.
And DeLello and Amy Shelley are not going to have time with that for this race.
Meanwhile, that is Zachary Fitzwater in the 5th position now, clearing the rest of the field.
There comes the 48. I mean, he's got enough laps to come up there.
Meanwhile, 9 laps to go this time by. When will the leaders have to pit?
Also coming up there, Sam Young in the 14. He hit it under that caution. He's already up in that back half there. He's up to 10.
And actually making even more moves as he passes the 77 and the 23.
It's only a few laps, but new tires like RJ Reynolds coming up to the field.
Now Amy Shelley tries to make the move on Dylan Young.
As Amy's going to 3rd, as DeLello trying to reel in the 15, but when do they pit? Like you said, what tires do you take for 5 laps or 6 laps or how many laps they have left?
Meanwhile, Kyle Matthews will now grab 5th away from Zachary Fitzwater and tries to overtake his own teammate now for 4th.
He just came out of nowhere himself.
And the field is catching the 10.
Oh no.
Top 2 will clear just fine.
Whoa,
Uh-oh. Here comes Almarego, I believe. Yes, he will. That hands the lead to the 49 of Zachary DeLello.
So who pits and who doesn't?
Well, so with 7 laps to go, Seth Cole coming off pit lane in the 25.
Well, just a lot of these guys staying out here. I think the guys who pitted now are going to have the advantage because new tires is going to mean a lot in the beginning here.
Well, they might be able to try and make it last, but I don't know. I think going 7 extra laps than these guys is going to be a tough ask. Meanwhile, Zachary DeLello stays out again, but it'll be Dylan Young, and Zachary Fitzwater who do pit.
I mean, what does DeLello got to lose? He's 55th in all points.
Well, speaking of what does someone have to lose, how about Sam Young staying out there risking it for 2nd place right now? He is he is 8th in points. I mean, he has a lot to lose here.
Well, remember, he hit it on lap, so can he make it to the end?
I think DeLello's having to pit this time.
He's gonna probably concede the position.
Yeah.
But can Sam Young do it? I mean, he has a chance.
He won up Barber, which started to somewhat come down to fuel mileage. Couldn't quite. His own teammate actually pulled off the fuel mileage game last week.
Oh, Steve Paul, that's gonna be a black flag right there.
Meanwhile, 77 is in the grass.
What the hell? 43 is gonna get a black flag. Somebody just pushed him off the axis, folks.
Well, we'll have to see how the officials decide to rule that one. He did get back down to the apron, so there is that.
Now, I think the 14 might have a chance. Daniel James the lap down.
As the 14 was able to draft off the 4 of Daniel James there. Meanwhile, that is the 13th place car actually going 1 lap down.
Well, Henry Williams was going out of the race, and I'm guessing 3 laps to go.
As there are 4 laps to go, actually. There's Zach Rogers just coming out of the pits. James Quall's currently in 2nd. Oh, okay, wow. Sam Young's having to pit.
He can't do it. See anybody try Qualls?
James Quall's going to try it. Samet Ozkan is also trying it. This is the battle for the lead. New leader at the line is Samet Ozkan.
Oh, I don't know. It's going to be very tough to make 3 laps unless he wants to lead posts. The 49's ahead of the 15.
Meanwhile, Dylan Young just on fresh tires trying to get his lap back now. There's the 60 coming off pit lane. Oh boy. That, I think he did, yep. Meanwhile, James Qualls is having to pit. Here comes Ozkan.
Okay, so now I see the 49. I don't see the 15
Next,
in the top 10.
Where's the 42? He was scored 3rd. Troubles for the 1 of Zayn Abdullah. That's a... Oh! Okay, that was a bad spot.
Surprised it's not a caution.
The 42's coming off pit lane right now.
Are we even green? How are we green?
We are still green. So Ozkan is currently the race leader.
Is DeLello? If something happens in the 15, he's not the leader. DeLello's going to lead.
And coming off of the pit lane, there's Ozkan.
Zach DeLello in the 49 is leading.
And there it is. That's the pass for the lead.
What the hell?
Charles Jackson is going to be 2nd, Sam Young 3rd, and Henry Sanford in 4th.
Wait, what? What?
Coming to the white flag, it's going to be BAM Racing numbers 49 of Zachary DeLello.
It's 3:30 in the morning. Am I seeing things?
You are not. But Charles Jackson's trying to make the clock strike midnight.
No, 49's gonna park the bus.
Here comes Sam Young down the back straightaway.
They go, oh, that's what he wants. Oh my God, it's really gonna happen. Oh my Lord Jesus, no way.
Through turn number 3.
Oh my
Can
God.
Jackson get a run?
Jackson, please save us. Oh no, this is Gabe Williams 2.0.
It's gonna be side by side to the line. DeLello wins it.
Oh, he did it. Zach DeLello won. Oh my God.
BAM Racing pulls off the upset in Michigan.
The 49ers missed 5 races in a row. They only have one top 10.
Their first top 5 of the season, and it's Zach DeLello's first win of the season. And of his career.
And the 49ers going to Homestead. He wins his 4th career start.
Zachary DeLello, by 29 thousandths of a second, wins over Charles Jackson. And he deserves that extra lap around.
Hold on. Let me just pull up this. Let me see their finish this year. Oh, my Lord. 4th career start, and that's a win. You know, Tom Shelley started 85 races, and he couldn't even get a win. And he's made 4 starts, and he's already won.
Charles Jackson, Sam Young, Henry Sanford, Samet Ozkan, Vince Almarego, Dylan Young, Amy Shelley, James Qualls, Daniel James, the top 10 today. So Daniel James in his 2nd career start gets his first top 10. Some other good runs. Shelton, yesterday's winner, comes home 13. By the way, you technically called it.
Yes, because he technically started 29th.
He technically qualified 29th. He started 27th.
See? The 49ers finished 20th, 9th, and 36th this season, and they're a winner. This is their 4th start, and they were the lowest team in order points. Alexander Rowe does not get a top 20 in points.
They were the lowest one that has attempted more than one race.
Before we end it, I would like to see why Henry Williams and who pushed the 43 off the access road.
Sure, why not?
Because that was a very controversial call right there. Well,
there's Zain Abdullah with his engine failure.
Big engine failure on the front stretch.
But,
I can't believe Zach DeLello won. So he must have got turned or something. So, okay, I think I know where this is heading. Oh no, this is well. It's too ball third and give it credit.
So that answers that question.
Now, it looks like Sky Commons was not happy with the 40. See, right there, that's what I'm saying. That's kind of I don't know how you call that.
Well,
I mean, the 83 kind of just body slammed him off and they gave him black. That's kind of cool. I don't know about that.
I'm kind of curious. Well, yeah, so there it is. You can see the 43 having to come back down pit lane
to serve the penalty. Yeah, that's a little, I don't know, that's a little controversial if you ask me. He kind of got forced up, but what it is, at least Steve is locked. At least Steve didn't get DMQ points.
So Steve Pollard having to serve a penalty underneath the green flag there relegates him down the order a little bit.
Big time down the order.
37th.
Mary Shelley a lap down. I don't know how to Mary.
Must have been a very slow pit stop or something. But either way, Zachary DeLello doesn't have to race his way into the All-Star race next year. He'll be making his 2nd All-Star race appearance now, should he find a ride. But congrats to Zachary DeLello on the win. Your final thoughts, Stephen?
It was a good Michigan weekend. I called the winner today, I guess. Zach DeLello in his 4th Coca-Cola Series start that he's officially made. He's attempted a lot more. Charles Jackson, Sam Young with another good run. Ozkan with one of his best career runs of his career. Daniel James with a top 10 in his 3rd career start. Actually, I think his second career start. Second, good job for Daniel James. It was a really good weekend. I hope next weekend we have the Mercedes Dirt Derby Classic. So all hell's going to break it loose next week. I don't think DeLello is going to be in the race. And I believe all the part-time cars except Baranowski have won this season.
Don't even think the 49's actually showing up next week because I'm pretty sure it's an original Cup race next week.
Yeah, DeLello won, Henry Williams won, Steve won in 98, and the only one who hasn't won is Baranowski. Matt Dixon won at somewhere. I think it was.
And by the way, survey says Alexander Rowe still without a top 20.
And Baranowski's 25th. That will not be his best career finish. 20th is. So Baranowski is on the hot seat. The only part-time car not to win this season in the COTs.
It is what it is. Congrats to Zachary DeLillo on the win. As you can tell, I'm a little bit tired, starting to yawn. I'd
Me
like to
too.
thank you guys for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you haven't today for more gaming and racing related content. I'd like to thank Steven for joining me. And this has been a production of the NRSL. I'm Gordon Fan 201, and I'll see you guys next time.
See you guys.